So I'm going to start with Dr. Sapphire. So you answered two questions, 4 minutes to answer one, 4 minutes to answer the other, but I'll ask you one after the other, right? So let's
All
start
right.
with the first one. Are you guys ready? Hey,
We're
hey, I want to
ready.
see a
Yay! We are
certificate.
ready.
So, Dr. Sapphire, as a doctor and an email marketing
We're
expert,
ready.
have you ever encountered moments when you felt unqualified to excel in both domains? How did you navigate through this challenging phase of self doubt and find your footing?
Okay. I didn't see that question coming anyways, but I don't think it's an unfamiliar one. So have I ever had moments of self doubt? Yes. Yes, I have. I've had moments of self doubt. I don't know if I've had moments of self doubt about the two at the same time, but there were times when I felt like, okay, it's like, so I always tell people that yes, I'm doing medicine, I'm practicing, right? So I was at work this morning. I worked this morning. So I'm practicing and I'm doing email marketing. Since I came back, like I have this paper here. I've been brainstorming email ideas for one of my clients. So there are times when I feel like one is getting more overwhelming than the other, and I start to ask myself questions. And then some days, depending on what happens, like I have to sit back and ask myself, it's like, do you really know what it is that you're doing? And even though those moments aren't often, so there, I would say there are a lot, because I would say I've come a really long way. So it's not something that I have as often as maybe when I started, right? But there are still times that it comes up, and it comes in different forms. So what do I do? I feel like one of the things that has worked so well for me is the fact that I have a good support system, right? And it's something that personally has really worked for me, because I used to tell people that medicine is like a first wife and is a very jealous one, and then email marketing is like a second wife. And so you know how it can be sometimes when you have all those family disputes and things like that. But then you know which one is the first wife and you know which one is the second wife. So yes, I want to do the two, but I know the one that is first for me and the one that is second. And then sometimes one could be higher than the other, but most of the times I know which is first and which is second. So one thing that really worked for me is having a support system. My support system includes my immediate family. My support system includes my friends, and they are not even with me physically, all of them. My support system includes the people who I have met on and offline. There are people I have connected with. I met Eloho online. That was like 2020, 2021. So there are people I've connected with on and offline that
Yeah.
sometimes I can reach out to, or sometimes they just check up on me. And I feel like they are usually led to check up on me. And when they check up on me, I could be going through something. And then in that moment that they check up on me, I share. And then the ideas they share with me, helps me come out of this. And I can picture two very vivid moments that happened earlier this year. One was with Eloho. She randomly asked me, I don't know what I replied to on her story. And before you know it, we had a whole long conversation. And then another one was with them, the process toolbox. Yeah. I can't like it just starts out randomly. And before you know it, people are in your circle that can help you solve your problem, you know. Then and the final support system I'll say I have is the community that I have around me, the people that cheer you on. I see some of them in the comments already. The people that you know that you have to show up for. And sometimes they just send you messages and you just feel like it's a random message, but that message comes in at a very timely moment that it does nothing but spoil you. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is the God factor for me personally. There are times when it's like all I can do is just pray. It's not like kabashing and fasting and all of those things, but it's just that from my lips to God's ears kind of thing, because I'm like, see, I don't even know how I want to do this, but I need help. And help just comes my way. Help comes my way in the form of people, sometimes people that I will never expect help to come from. So, for example, before this session started, there was a way I had planned to appear for this session. And I was just like, oh, my session is about to start. I was talking about my friends, and the person is like, oh, have you done this? Have you done that? Do this. And it was just somebody that just came into my corner and just like it was not supposed to happen. But this person just says, do this, do that, do this. And I'm like, okay, okay, I'm doing it, and all of that. And that was just help for me. And so that's something that I'll say has helped me to be able to overcome having a support system and the God factor.
Wow, that's really amazing, and I concur to what you say. Having support system and God factors, like everybody here, all of you here, I met all of you online. I think I saw Chesa by chance last week. Not really good scene. We just saw hello hello
I
passing,
know.
but we've known each other. We've known each other since 2020 online, and we've supported ourselves one way or another. Same thing as Process to Box, as Sapphire, even grow my craft. I just met her recently through when I was launching Grow Challenge, and we're here today, right? So that support system is very good, and God, of course, God is a very good factor, because I know studying medicine can be a lot. In fact, being a
Yeah.
doctor, you spend hours in the hospital, then you now still come back, you still be doing training. How are you doing it?
Doing
Doing email marketing, doing this. I'm like, how is this girl? Sometimes I just be like, how is this girl doing this thing? So it really inspires me, and thank you for sharing this with us. So the second question is, you previously worked as a Canva designer. There was a time where you were doing Canva design, you were doing email marketing. Could you share the reason behind your decision to focus solely on email marketing? What motivated you to specialize in this particular area? Why did you stop Canva and just focus on email marketing?
Okay, so I was doing Canva in 2020. When I came into the online space, I first started as a faith-based creator, and then I slowly pivoted into Canva design, and it was something that came easy for me. So as at that time, I used to design. I was running a cake business. So when I was in medical school, I ran a cake business for 4 years. The Cake
Wow.
Doctors. We still have our Instagram page. So I used to do like the designs for our brand. I had a business partner, my very good friend. So I used to do the designs for our brand. And then during that COVID period, we did this bake at home challenge, which was an online baking class. And then I did this ebook design for it. And people just kept asking me questions. Oh, you did this, you did this, you did that. And I'm like, oh, this Canva that I play with, people are sounding like this thing is so amazing and so great. And so I said that, oh, okay, do you know what? I could actually teach this thing since I'm getting inquiries. And so I started, creating a whole course and all of those things because I wanted to teach it. And I really put my heart into it. And then one of the things that I learned when I was trying to create that course was that every big person was telling me the money was in the list. And it's like you needed to have an email list. And if you don't have an email list, and every single big person, I wanted Amy Potterfield, all those big people, they all had email lists. Like they were always releasing one masterclass or the other. And I felt like that was the way to go. So even though I was in Canva design, I now wanted to do my own email list. So at the point I had a faith-based list, then I had a list for Canva design. And then at the point I did this 21 days Canva challenge, and I also used it to grow my list and all of those things. But in the midst of that, I really wanted the email marketing to work for myself. It was a personal thing for me. It was that they're saying the money is in the list, but I'm not making any money. I'm not making any sale. Nothing. Shishi, shimbai, nothing. Do you understand? And it was frustrating. I was pained because I'm like, I'm writing. I'm doing challenge. I'm doing this. People are coming in, but they're asking me nonsense questions. So I knew that something was off. And so because of that, I just did more like a deep dive. So as at that time, it wasn't because I wanted to master email marketing. It was just because I wanted to win at it. Do you understand? Like, I just really wanted this thing to work for me. Like I'm doing this thing because I want to make sales, and this is why how they are telling me to do it. And I'm doing all the things I feel like they're telling me to do, and it's not working. So I wanted to do a deep dive. So I kept on learning, kept on taking courses, and then one day I realized that like I knew a lot about this because people would ask questions. I'm like, this simple thing. Why are people asking like it's hard? And so usually that time I'll just answer questions in communities. Like I'll just be answering so many questions on the social media here from different communities. And I realized that a lot of people started seeing me as an expert. And all I was doing was sharing the knowledge I had gotten because of my experience. And so I started doing it, but I was just talking about it passively, not very actively, until somebody who is also a friend of mine now that I met on Instagram reached out to me, and she's like, oh, that she knows I do email marketing. That if she's to do this thing if I'm doing this thing for her brand, how much will I pay her? I'm like, oh, people want to pay me to do this thing. Because if she had asked me to do that thing for her for free as at that time, I would have said, oh, sure, send me your details, I'll set it up. But then she was like, how much will I charge? I did not have a price, I did not have anything. I started thinking, and I just called a random number. I think I called like 7,000. Then for the second thing she
Oh
asked me to do,
wow.
in total it was like 15,000. I was like, oh, I will do the email for you, set up the automation, one thing, one thing. In total, I think it was like
So it was
15,000.
at that point you discovered that you don't want to do Canva again.
No, I don't think it was at that point, because at a point I was actually doing the two. And I will be
Yeah.
asking questions. I remember one time I was asking Eva, I'm like, how do I merge two things that are so diverse? And people will be saying things like you need to pick one, or you can do 2 pages. And I know how to do 2 pages and all of those things. But I feel like what just happened was nature just took its course. So I didn't actively decide in my
Oh,
head to stop doing Canva. But as I continued to grow, one just became predominant. And at a point, I realized that I
and
could
that's how
easily
you
just
got
let
here.
go of the other one. So I think it
Wow.
was just a growing process for me. Because if you had asked me, oh, leave Canva, focus on email marketing, as at where I was initially, I would have said no. I would have told
You
you I'll
wouldn't have
find a
done
way
that.
to
Yeah.
make it work. Yeah, but as I grew,
Amazing. Amazing.
it just, took over.
Amazing. Wow, that's really
So
so
that was
basically
it.
you just showed up with what you know, and you know clarity begin to come, and nature just took a course and you found yourself here. And I think that's what happens with many of us. Even me, I started with Facebook ads, from there I moved to courses, from there I moved to, there's a lot of, the story is very long, but then at the end of the day, it's from showing up with what I know. The more people started asking me for more things, I'm like, okay, I can do this thing, I can do this thing. And that's how I started pivoting little by little. Thank you very much for sharing that journey. So if you are here and you feel like, oh, you're doing too much, I think this should be a motivation to you. Probably you're not doing too much. You just need to find a way to either segment them or just keep showing up in a way that eventually you'll be able to find that one thing that speaks for you. Or maybe lean towards the one that is more predominant, the one people are asking more of you. People are asking more of that from you. Say, oh, do this for me, do this for me. But I also believe that that lady coming to meet you, asking you for email marketing service, also helped in a kind of way to decide that I think I want to take email marketing seriously. Yeah, thank you very much, Sapphire, for sharing that. It's really really insightful. Okay, so the next question is for Chesa. So how are we going to do this? I think we'll do it one after the other. If I ask Chesa one question, I'll ask Fatima one. So everybody will speak. Okay, Chesa, are you ready for me?
Yeah, I
All right,
am.
great. Great. Exactly. Chesa, you juggle multiple roles as a mother, a wife, a business analyst at your day job, a brand and graphic designer, and now you are a baker. Ah, it's impressive to see how
I
you manage
know.
all of these things. You know, could
Honestly,
you shed more
yeah.
light on how you maintain a balance between your family, day job, brand design work, and your new venture as a baker? How do you manage all of these things?
Now, that's a long sheet, right? It's a very long one. I don't even know how I do it. And finding a balance with all these multiple roles is a daunting task. Yeah, it's challenging. I wouldn't say it's easy, but one thing that gets me through is the way I find fulfillment in each and every one of them. So it's been said multiple times that when you're doing something, make sure what you're doing is what you love, right? So I got to find out that some of the things that I love to do is what I'm doing. So somehow it's not like it's a chore, right? Because I love to do those things. Okay, so talking about all the multiple roles. Firstly, I don't joke with my work with God, right? So that's where I draw my source from. Okay, so whenever I'm feeling worn out, I just go back and I go and, refuel that kind of thing. Then as a mom, I have very little kids. I have some that are grown as well, and a lot of times it's not so easy juggling them because you have a lot of things coming up. They will have to go to the hospital. They have to do immunization. They will have to do assignments. So it's a lot. So how do I juggle all these things? One thing I do is I prioritize, right? So I try to, okay, all these things I'm doing. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I work, I bake, I do graphic design, right? How do I, which one is the top of my list? Which one is most important to me? So what I do is my family, it's at the top, right? And then of course, doing graphic design and baking, because it's not something I do full time, I have to put my day job ahead of it, right? Because that is where I get my daily source of income. So I tend to put that next. So but the first thing I do is my family. Now how do I juggle family? Because most of the time when I get home, I'm tired after the long traffic and then the long commute home and the travel. What I've learned to do is I've tried to delegate. You understand? I remember a story that I would like to share. Before, I was very particular about my girls and their hair. So what I do is on Saturday, all of us would go to the salon and I'll spend the whole day there. And then would not do anything else. So what I did was, of course, it's going to cost more money, but what I did was to get someone to come home, right, and do the hair. So while the person is doing the hair at home, I can now have time to do other things while the person is doing the hair at home. So you see how I've been able to, you know, gain more time for myself because I'm like,
Yeah.
you can't be
And still bond
overdotted.
with family.
Exactly. So they are still home, and then it created more time for other things. So I'm able to do other things, right? So I prioritize, like I said, prioritizing and setting realistic expectations. So I'm not just saying, okay, I want to. Even for the design, if you notice, I don't take more than I can chew, right?
Yeah.
So if you come to me with the design job, I'll tell you, do you have like somebody that came to me a few days ago? I said, I'm not able to do anything right now. If you can wait till next week, if you can't wait, it's fine. All right. I could refer you to somebody else. There are many of us. So that's what I do with the additional work. So with design, I try to say, okay, set realistic deadlines. If I can do it in 3 days, I'll tell you I'll do it in 5 days so that I can deliver in 3 days. Do you understand?
Wow, that's
So
really
that,
nice.
yes. So I'll tell you 5 days so that when I'm able to deliver, I'm over, how do you say it? Over promising, Abby? Under promise and over
You're
deliver, right?
under promising and over delivering. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So that's the thing.
Oh, that's
And
that's
then,
that's really good.
yes. So, and then developing effective, time management strategies. So for me, I wake up in the morning, I have the little book. I have this little book where I I just write down what are the things that I need to do in the day. When you see this book, you will see clients, this, clients, that. So I try to prioritize and say, okay, these are the things that I need to do through the course of my day. And which one, it's more important than
Comes
the
first.
others. And then I also try
Amazing.
to, yes, I try to seek support, right now. Even with my graphic design, I've gotten someone else that helps with the design as well, so I'm not keeping my clients waiting. So assuming at my work I have a deadline and I'm not able to meet up, I push it out to the person. So my some of my clients know, oh, she has somebody that works with her now, and I push it. So what I do is I now review the work and say, and this guy, do this work, and then we're pushing out to the guy, and then take care of yourself. This one, I don't know. I can't come and kill myself.
Oh,
But
4 minutes is
as
up.
I'm,
Yeah.
yeah, take care of yourself. I try to take care of myself as much as I can, just find time.
Wow, that's
Sometimes I
really
just
good.
doze off, leave everything, just sleep,
It's really
you
good,
know?
yeah. And I like
Yeah,
what you
Yes,
said,
so true.
prioritizing everything. So you already know that you have four different things that you're doing:
yeah,
family, your graphics work, baking, and your day job. So now you prioritize your work. Which one comes first? Family first, then your
mm,
day job, then the other ones comes next, right? And then inside
yes,
that same work, you still have to prioritize your day. Like, okay,
yes,
every single day, what am I doing for family? What am I doing for my day job? What am I doing for this brand? What am I doing for this? And then you prioritize which
exactly.
one comes first, and like that.
Yes,
That's really good. And also delegating and trying to also be able to manage your time. time
Mm.
management is a really big thing
It's very
for
key, very key.
it's a
Yeah.
very big thing for a lot of us. Even me, that I'm not married, and myself, I still struggle with time management. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
that, Chester. So before I ask you your second question, right? I'm going to ask Fatima her own question. So, Fatima, your work involves assisting people with fixing their ads, ranging from those who have forgotten their passwords to those who have faced multiple unsuccessful attempts in solving their problems. Can you share your experiences of working with such diverse individuals? How do you handle situations where you're unable to resolve their ad related issues?
Okay. So from what you just said, at the beginning, I was always like asking myself, is there anything wrong while people do not have it? You're always logged into your account, yes. But how is it possible that you don't know your logins? Like, what's going on? I used to find that like maybe you're trying to punish me or something. But one thing I usually do is that immediately you tell me, maybe you come to me, we've already analyzed what we are going to do and the solution we're going to go with. What I will ask is, do you know your logins? If you don't know your logins, what I already did is I already created like videos you can follow through. So even if you don't know your let us say you don't know your password, at least you know your email address, you know your phone number, and you use your phone number to log in and use the forgot password option. Finish. That's just it. I don't stress myself. Just send forward the videos to them. Go through the videos within 5 minutes. You'll be able to do it yourself. And if you're not able to do it yourself, and I see that okay, I have time on my hands, I'll just say that okay. Do you know the phone number offhand, or do you have the phone number with you, or do you have the email address with you? And if you have it with you, that should be fast because you know when you try to use the forgot password option and everything, you can always get codes easily. So with the codes, PM, we are already done. That's how
Wow,
I've made it very, very
but
easy.
before, that's really nice. So basically, when you found out that this thing was actually a problem, you decided to create a solution where you create a walkthrough video. Because the
Yes,
truth is, if you
exactly.
have 10 clients, you cannot do it for, there are times where you'll be frustrated. You cannot be helping
Very,
10 clients
very.
sort out their forgot password, you know?
Yes,
So you
yes.
just had to find a way to just create something that can help them do. What if they're not able to follow through your video? What do you did you let them go or what?
No, I usually get that question, but the videos I do, it is a very, very simple video. It's not the one that comes with maybe 100 steps. No, within 3 steps, you are good to go. So if we have an issue there, I can just point out that okay, this is what you need to do to get to the next one, and you are good to go.
Oh wow, amazing. Thank you very much for sharing that. So Chesa, I'll come back to you. Your question is very big and broad, you know. So the final thing I want to ask you is on time management. Because you know it's easy to say manage your time, manage your time. How are you managing time? How are you setting the time management thing? How are you doing it? Is it like you set alarms? What exactly do you do when you say time? I know we've understand the prioritizing part, prioritize the things you need to do. So how do you now manage your time? So for example, let's say you have 10 things to do today and they're all of priority. How do you manage your time? You only have 24 hours in a day. How do you do it?
The first thing I say, we already spoke about prioritizing our task. Okay, the main thing that I want to say is set realistic goals, because I feel like a lot of times we just pack everything and we feel like, oh, I can do this. So I set realistic goals. During the course of the day or during the course of my week, I know the amount of things that I can do based on the everything that I have. Okay, so I create a schedule, right? I already know that I have a day job, which is going to take me 9 to 4 p.m. Right, and I have about 1 hour 30 minutes commute. So between that 9 o'clock and 5:30, I can't do anything. There's somebody already, an activity that I've already blocked out for that period, which is my day job, right? So there's nothing else I can do during that period. So what I do is during the course of the day, I'm a mom and everything. So what I do is I can plan and say, okay, like today now, there is between yesterday and today. Okay, so between Saturday and Sunday, I've been able to get things done in terms of preparing the kids for school, preparing what's, as in writing a schedule of what they will take on each day. Are you understanding? So I know that this is the amount of things that I need to get done, right? So that's how I manage that, because what it means is that I'm going to run into risk of I'm coming back from home and I've not even planned what is going on for dinner. Do you understand? So between Saturday and Sunday, I've already planned, oh, these are the things that we're going to take Monday, Tuesday, and so I plan my day like that. So I create a schedule. I've already said 9 to 5. I've already blocked that out for my day job. Now, what I also do is between I get to my work most times between 7 and 7:30. So what I do between that 7:30 and 8:30, for example, is if I have any quick thing to do on my phone, maybe respond to DMs, follow up with clients, and all that, I do it within that time. So that's what I do between 7:30 and 8:30. So I try to, and one thing I've also noticed is when I try to multitask, I get nothing done. I don't know if any other person has a contrary view, but you see multitasking, you feel like you can do 10 things at the same time. For me, I feel like it's a thief of time. Sapphire, Sapphire, you are nodding. Are you
It's
agreeing with
true.
me? Yes. When you try to multitask, so what I've learned to do recently is I don't try to juggle so many things at the same time. If I'm focusing on a particular design, I leave every other thing, do that design and deliver it, right? And you find out that you get to do more things when you say, okay, let me focus. The power of focus is very important. And I try to minimize distractions as well. So what I do most times, because I can't do much within that 7, 8, 9, when everybody is asleep, that's when I walk. By that time,
Wow.
everybody, yes, because that's the only time I get quiet. If not, I'm going to be hearing mommy there, and I can't concentrate. So I try to minimize distraction. And I already mentioned it, delegate and outsource. This life
And
is
are
only
there times
one.
where you let go of work? Like, so maybe you know that you cannot do this thing today. Maybe you're supposed to deliver is of priority, oh. But
Mm,
then you know that you cannot do it. So you will not prioritize and say, oh, maybe like I will leave this thing and face and focus on my high priority, which is my family.
mm,
Are there
mm.
times like that?
Yes, yes, there are times like that. But one thing I want to say, when you have that particular incident, you must have seen it that, oh, this job I cannot deliver within this time. Please communicate. Communication is very important. Truth of it is that I spoke to a client, was it 2, 3 days ago, and I said, oh, sorry, I can't deliver this thing to you. And these are my reasons. And I was able to tell the client at least 2 days before the thing was due. The client, I said, please, I'm going to be late a day or two. So you communicate, because most times when we have issues with people is you're not communicating, you're waiting for the last minute to tell the person that you can't do it, right? And that's where the problem is. So with communication, you'll be able to say, okay, I can deliver, oh, I can't deliver this thing when I should. Now, those times when I can't deliver, what I did was to get a backup, right? Like I mentioned, for design,
Okay.
I have a
Great.
backup.
Yeah.
Do you understand? If I know that it's getting to 3 days, 4 days, and I have to deliver within 7 days and I can't deliver, I'll get my team member to get it done, right? If it's baking, what I can do is to tell you, oh, for this baking this week, I can't do it. And one problem we have with people is we find it difficult to say no, because you feel like if I say no, I can't do this thing, the money is going to pass you by. The truth of it is that what if you collect the money and you're not able to deliver? You have damaged your reputation. So why don't you go ahead and say, oh, I can't do this at this particular time? So I've learned a lot. I'm going to lose the money, yeah, but at that time, I still have my reputation intact, because the client is not going to go to
Yeah, I
Instagram
love
and call
that.
me out. Do you understand? So I tell you, no,
Yeah.
I can't handle this at this particular time. Okay, please find somebody else, or will you like me to refer you to somebody else? So those are
Amazing.
part of the ways that I've been able to cope with
Manage
that,
time.
manage time.
Thank you
So I
very
hope
much.
it made
So,
sense to
guys,
somebody.
yes, it does. Don't take more than you can chew. It's better you let go of the job or find a way to get somebody to do with somebody that you trust. And I think that brings us to when you start growing. I see Sapphire doing that, which is something I really love. When you start growing, you should start training people as well. Because you get to a point where you cannot do things on your own anymore. You will need people to
Yes,
start. And that's something I'm
True.
exactly.
also learning to do
Yes.
now. Start training people so that when you give it to them, you'll be comfortable and sure and confident this person can do this. And that's something that Sapphire is really doing now. She's doing it very well, and I really admire her for that. And Chesa too does that. I don't know if Fatima does that, but I believe she does because she handles a lot of people, and I'm not sure she does that all by herself. All right,
I
so
don't think
Fatima,
I
the
can
last
do it
question.
myself.
The last question for you is: have you ever encountered situations where you were unable to fix people's hard problem despite your best efforts? How did you manage such instances and ensure that the person doesn't feel discouraged or frustrated?
Um, there are times that we might not be able to fix the issue at that time, and most times the issue comes from Facebook, especially. So it will not be like, okay, I cannot do it or anything. It will be that maybe, okay, Facebook is having glitches, Instagram is not allowing us to change this, change that. You understand? And you know how these social media platforms work. Sometimes it might be going really well. Okay, let me give you for an instance. Maybe you are trying to create a content now. You've already created the content, everything is going on well. You've already edited it, and it's time for you to post, and it's like 3 hours you can't post, you can't do anything. You understand? That's how it happens whenever you're fixing these issues too. Sometimes you can go on Facebook and you might not even be able to create a Facebook page at all. And sometimes you might even be trying to, normally anybody can connect your Facebook and Instagram platforms together, but sometimes you might not even be able to connect it. So these issues come from this platform. So what we try to communicate, as she said, what we try to do is that
Are you here, Fatima? I think we lost her. Okay, so while we wait for Fatima, if you have any questions, please ask. And if your question is directed to a particular person, please say this question is for Chesa. Somebody asked a question here, so who will answer it? Chesa, Sapphire. What about the one person CEO that cannot delegate, that do all the job themselves?
Can I say something?
Yes,
okay,
please. You can answer this question. I wanted to say something about the question.
Okay, yeah. So Jessica's question: what about the one person CEO that cannot delegate and that does all the jobs themselves? That used to be me. I'm the one person CEO. See me here. And I used to find it very hard to delegate because I felt like nobody could do it as well as I could. And number two, there was this pride in being able to handle so many things. And it's like, you'll be telling people as if you're going through a lot, but low key, you're proud about it. I'm like, oh, and I had to do this and I did that. But I realized that
I know that feeling.
somewhere, somewhere along the line, nobody will tell you, you will delegate because things will begin to happen, especially if you're growing. The minute you start growing, you will know that you need to expand. And expanding your capacity is not like you growing multiple tentacles. It's by you setting up a system under you, and that system is by delegating. There are people I can reach out to them. I'm like, oh please, I need help with this. Oh, just be doing this particular thing for me. I am someone that loves to design a lot, and it was very hard for me to give out doing templates or designs for myself. And I always feel like, this person is not getting it. And sometimes I'll not be like, okay, maybe I'm not the one, I'm the one that is not explaining it as much. But at a point, I had to let go and tell myself that, you know what, however it comes out, I will accept it and look for how to improve it. And it was something that really helped me. For managing my community, it was something like I hold my community like this. It's like an egg for me. I don't use it to play.
Our team,
So
they are
having
our
somebody
babies.
having somebody come in and manage, I'm like, no, you're not speaking the way I want. And I feel like a lot of times we complain about clients until we have to be clients ourselves. Then you really understand
Yes.
a lot because you're now seeing from the other angle. And I'm like, no, it has to be that. Don't say this, and then someone will put a message, I'll delete it. And I'm not even going to tell you why I deleted it. I'm like, no, this message shouldn't have gone. I'll just delete it. Then I now like it was a learning journey.
Wow.
But if you want to grow, you realize that you have to delegate. You can only be the one person CEO for so long, really. And it's just the honest truth. Except even with exception that maybe that's the only thing you're doing, you have a lot of time. Imagine if you were the same person working for one client and now you have 20. The capacity to do the same thing in the same 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days. No. At a point, you will know that you just need to begin to give people things to do for you. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
can
it.
Wow,
I?
that's really good. So,
Yeah.
okay, yes, Person, you can say
Uh,
something.
yes, truth of it is that there's only a certain point to which you can grow if you want to continue to be a one person CEO. Someone like Eloho, I've seen her. I remember when she used to juggle so much. There was one day she told me, Chesa, this canvas, yeah, just do it. Yeah, I'm not doing it again. But then you get to, I've seen her grow, right? Grow into the day I saw somebody emailing and person says, "Is it Ola? That your guy is Ola? Abi?
Ola
Ola,
from
yeah,
BCC, yeah.
yes, yes, Ola from this." And I'm like, you just have to find a way to build a team somehow because
Yeah,
that's the way you can grow. And because you will not be efficient, you're going to drop the ball somehow. So I'm this thing I'm saying, I'm also speaking to myself because I found it so hard. The truth of it is that nobody can do it the way you, but when you find out that you
yeah.
start building a team and you find out that somebody else can also do this as even better than you're doing it. So why are you carrying it upon your head to say, oh, I must be a one man CEO? So if you can afford it, because a lot of times when people want to be a one person CEO, low key, they feel like they are going to
They
share
cannot afford
profit.
it.
Yes, you are going to have to do away with part of your profit. Low key, that's when you now start thinking, oh,
But what if
because
you can't afford it? So what do you advise?
if you can't afford it, then I guess you just have to be the one man CEO at some point. But there are people that take interns.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
There's somebody. Everybody has a price, right?
True.
It's just
sure.
that where you are going
I
to
agree.
hang your coat may be too high. Everybody has a price, so find the one at your level. I don't agree that you may not
And
find
pe-
somebody. You will find somebody. Maybe some people just want to gain experience and they don't even mind.
yeah,
So put it out there. Put it out there. Say, oh, this is what I can afford. If you're interested, you see people sign up. A lot of people are just having talent in their house and they don't know how to showcase the talent and they want an avenue. And you could be the one to give it to them. So just do that.
I
yeah.
agree. Fatima,
And
thank you
please let
very much. Do
me,
you have anything to say about this question? Okay, you want to say something? Sapphire.
Yes, I okay.
yeah, just very quickly. So there was an advice I saw somewhere sometime. The person was like, sometimes people find it hard to give out tasks, but something you can do is like a SWOT analysis. You know your strengths. You know the ones that even if you're good at everything, like some of us, we have had so much experience that everything
Ah,
seems
I
like we
can
are
do
very. So
everything.
you pick the one that you're very very good at, and then find people that complement the other sides. And so it's now like complementing yourself. So there are people that are working on the parts where you're weak at, and the parts that you're strong but they could be stronger or as good. So
Yeah,
that's
I
like
agree.
another way to go about it.
Okay, very good. Fatima, you want to add something to the question?
Yes, yes, exactly. About delegating. At the beginning, yes, you might not be able to afford it at the beginning. But one thing I know is that when the time comes for you to start delegating, you will know. Nobody needs to tell you. You will definitely know that, okay, no, I don't think I can start, I
I
can
can't
do
take
this
all
on
this alone.
myself. I cannot do this alone. And like Zafara said, your strengths and weaknesses too. There is majorly no business owner that likes every aspect of their business. There's no one.
I
So
agree.
those ones that you know that, okay, this is my strong points, I can do this one in my sleep, you go for it. And the one that are your weaknesses, you just delegate and makes it easy. I value my own peace of mind. So all those ones I know that, okay, I cannot do it. I cannot start adding down to all the tasks I already have at hand. Let me just delegate it. When that person is done, let me know so that I can just review it. That's it. Everybody is at peace. The client is at peace. I am at peace. Everybody is happy.
I think I agree to that. Yes, about delegation, I'm a very difficult person to work with. I would say that it's not like I'm being proud about it. I'm learning to become more soft and all. When I mean difficult, before you can please me. Ha! Voila.
You're too
It's not
smart.
like you
That's the
cannot please me. I'm
problem.
always very scared. Like, you can't do it how I want it. It has to be
You're too
me. I'm
smart.
the only one that can do it like that. That's why I'm now taking the route of training. So I have people that I'm training, that are working with me, that I'm training to do stuff. And the ones that I hate design. Chesa knows that. Even Sapphire knows that. I hate design. I try my best when it comes to design. In fact, I've learned this. Designing was the first thing I learned, but I don't find peace and joy and happiness doing it. Anytime I want to design, I'm always angry. So I have to tell myself, like, at this point I am in my business now, that thing will be slowing me down. Most times I was inconsistent with showing up on social media. It was because I was pissed. I don't want to design. I will just have the pose there. I will just be pissed. Like, how can I design this thing? I'll be like, well, I beg, I'll leave it there. I'll post it anytime. Those things draw me back. But over time, I started learning to let go. I say, well, any way they let me like this, I'll post them like that. That's how we got here. And although I'm still doing small, small touching, do it like this, but I'm also trying to still have an open mind. So if you want to start delegating, you also need
Yeah.
to also learn to have an open mind as well. If you cannot afford, look for
Yeah.
people that you can start training. People who can work under you, if it's to give them stipend or something, just
True.
anything, just
True.
do something to find a way to get them here. So Sapphire, what final words do you have to share with the audience? And same as Chesa, what final words? So Sapphire will go first, and then Chesa will go next before we wrap up the session.
Okay. Final words. So to be honest, anything is possible. That's anything that you want to do is possible. Like sometimes I used to feel like I'm doing a lot. Then Chesa comes and says she's a mom. I personally always admire moms, especially this period that I've been working like in the children emergency, and I see all the sacrifices, and you get to see some, like they are like, oh, I have to stay with this child here, I have to stay that child at home. And it's not like they plan for the child to be sick. So sometimes I feel like I do a lot. Then she talks about how she's baking. I stopped baking. So I'm doing just medicine and email marketing. She's doing this, she's doing that. So to be honest, you can do anything that you decide to do, right? But most importantly, we all have to learn to prioritize. We all have to continue to work towards increasing our capacity, because even that delegating that we want to delegate, if we don't increase our capacity, we will not be able to delegate, and we will not even have the funds to, in quote, sponsor the delegation. And I just want to do shout out to everybody and cheering you on, because I mean we are doing it. It's not always going to be easy, but it's doable. Yes. And there was a question I saw that I just want to say something. Someone says, how do we delegate? So I just want to quickly say how I personally delegate. At a point, I realized that I couldn't do it all. And then all of a sudden, there were tasks that started looking to me like, I can give out this one, but I will not give out this one. And so slowly, I started filling out a Notion board. So I have that Notion board. It's like a table, so it can be in Excel anywhere. So when I say, oh, I can give out community management, I then start writing out all the things I used to do under community management. So I list it, and the list is always growing. So today I'm like, oh, I schedule message, put reminders, I do that. Oh, scheduling social media posts and all of those things. I write out all the things I need to do. Video editing, I write out. Sometimes you don't even have to call it all the big names. It's a task that you do, you feel like giving out. Maybe it has one broad name, social media, or no, social media management is too big. Video editing, you have to edit videos for social media. You write it, you make a list, you write out all the things. Then another thing I started learning to do was, if I'm saying that this is what I do for community management, were there tools that I used to use to make it easier for me? I write it down. Are there some things that could be made into stepwise processes? Like, oh, if you're doing this, this is what you do first. This is what you do second. This is what you do third. People call it SOPs, right? System of operation. Abi? Systems of something. You can Google it.
Standard
SOPs.
operating procedure.
Thank you. Thank you. So standard operating procedure. So if it's something like, okay, so like if I'm saying, oh, you set up an automation, I'm like, oh, to set up an automation, this is what you should do. This is what you should do. If there's even a video like Fatima was talking about that I have that is showing how you can do it, I attach it. So in the document, as I'm building it out, When I have somebody to do that task, I can take all of those things and put on that one document, one Google Doc, and the person sees, oh, for community management, these are all the things that I expected. These are things that Sapphire has used previously. These are some resources she has put together. So it makes it easier to
Yeah.
delegate because I've just been compiling it and the list keeps growing. So it doesn't end in like one day. It's something that every time. So if I find a new thing that I can do under community management, I just add it and continue. So that's how I personally, work towards delegating. So thank you so much, Eloho. It has been great being here.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Sapphire. So, Chesa, can you give us your final words?
So, thank you so much for this opportunity. I've totally enjoyed myself with these brilliant fellow panelists. So, for me, all I have to say is you can have it all. Yeah, you can have it all. You can have a beautiful marriage, you can have lovely children, you can be an amazing entrepreneur, you can be a seven-star worker, full-time employee. You can have it all. You just need to set your mind to it, right? Set your mind to it. So one thing that has helped me is if you notice all these things that I'm doing, they are not taking me as in they are not so much pulling me in different directions. So I try to find what is the common ground. So aside work that is outside home, the other two that I'm doing is at home, right? So for the baking, for example, I get my kids involved. Okay, somebody is greasing the pan, the other person is, measuring the flow. So it's kind of like a bonding experience for us. So I'm doing my mom duties and I'm also, doing something for a client. So what has helped me is the fact that I try to put everything together. So I'm not doing things that are throwing me in different directions. So if you want to toe the line of being doing so many things, find a convergence, find a way that is going to work. So for me, aside my day job, the other things I do them from the comfort of my home. My graphic design is in front of my laptop, my baking is in my kitchen. So you can have it all. So, and
Amazing.
also these things that I do, they bring me joy and fulfillment, right? It's not something that I'm struggling to do. Do you understand? It's not something that I'm struggling to do. So that's what keeps me going. And when I see somebody taste my cake, for example, and they are like, oh my God, it gives me that sense of joy. A lot of people have told me that even the money you're charging for these things, like, is a hobby. When you're ready to do a business, I'm still doing that one as a hobby, really, because the margin on it, of course, is not much, but I just love the fact that when somebody tastes this, they're giving me feedback and say, oh, my kids loved it, oh, my colleagues loved it. So just that sense of fulfillment gives me that thing to say, oh, I'm pursuing my interest, I'm pursuing my passion, and I feel, my life is rich. It's not about money, but I have a rich life. Do you understand? I'm doing what I love and I'm doing what I'm interested in. So find something that you're doing and you can have it all, really. And don't forget to delegate. It
Wow.
saves you all the stress.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Esther. Fatima, welcome back. What final words do you have for us before we go?
Okay, so my final words are, as a business owner, just believe that I can do these things for my business. So there are sometimes you can have good days in your business, you can have hard days in your business, and you just think on the good days you'll be happy, everything is going well, and on the hard days you start asking yourself different questions, and you want to be like, I don't think I can do this thing anymore. But if you just believe that, okay, I can actually do these things, you actually do it. And again, in the aspect of delegate. I will say this thing 101 times. It has helped me a lot. And two is having to-do list and prioritizing. Just yesterday I was very, very confused because I had to multitask between different things and I was not getting anything done. Like nothing was done at all. So what I had to do was I had to write different things, what I needed to do, the steps I needed to take to achieve the things, the results for that thing I needed to do. So that made it easier for me. So yesterday was just like one of the not so good days, and when I believe that okay, I can actually do this, but you need to calm down and just really see what steps you can really take. And that has really helped me. And I think it will help many business owners too.
Wow, thank you very much, Fatima, for that closing remark. This session has been very insightful. I've learned a lot. I have laughed. We've laughed. I feel inspired. You know, even me myself, I'm also somebody trying to figure my own life out. Trying to figure myself out. We are all trying to figure ourselves out. Even Dangote is trying to figure his life out. You know, at every stage that you get to, there's always a bigger obstacle and a bigger thing to
Yeah.
figure out. That's
Mm,
just it. It's an unending cycle. No matter how you grow and all of that. So
Yeah.
we are still trying to figure ourselves. You know, but I believe that this conversation that we have today is going to motivate somebody, is going to inspire somebody, you know, to understand that they can have it all, they can do it, and they can still be successful and make something out for themselves. Thank you very much, Chesa, for coming. Thank you, Dr. Sapphire. Thank you, Fatima, for coming.
Yeah.
I really appreciate every one of you. We love you. Please say thank you to our panelists. This has
thank
been a really
you.
insightful session so far.
Thank
I love
you.
you guys. Thank you so
Bye.
much, guys.
Bye
Thank
Thank you.
you.
panelists.
You're
All
Thank
right.
welcome.
Thank you
you.
for
Bye.
having
Bye.
us.
Thank you for
Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank
having
you.
us.
bye.
Thank you. All right.